Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Temple of Technology. I am your host, Scott James Magner, the idiot with a microphone. Today, it's another episode of So Here's the Deal, our San Antonio webcast where I explore my vast media collection. Today, we'll be talking about Taking Chance, a DVD from my collection, 2009, and let's head to the screening room and we'll look at the trailer.
Sir, last night I read the DOD announcement about EFC Phelps. I would be honored to escort him home. Being picked up at 6.
Tomorrow morning?
It's a little unusual for an officer to escort a PFC.
Yes, sir. I know that, but I would very much like to do it, sir.
The remains are to travel feet first when being transported from one point to another. At each transfer point, regardless of the mode of transport, you will render honors.
I upgraded you to first class. Thank you for your service.
It's weird though, sir. Like without me telling anyone. They all know.
This one's for the faithless, the ones that are surprised. They're only where they are now, regardless of their fight. This one's for believing, if only for its sake. Come on, friends, get up. I want you to have this. Love is to be
You're his witness now. Without a witness, it just disappeared.
Chase would be so honored knowing such a senior officer brought him home.
So, Taking Chance is a 2009 movie about events that took place in 2004 during the Afghanistan conflict or war, whichever we want to call it. It's still going on today, so we're not really sure what's going to be going on. But Lieutenant Colonel Mike Strobel, who's a Marine, wrote a memoir about escorting a fallen soldier, Chance Phelps, across the United States to his burial site in Montana. The movie chronicles his remains being gathered on the battlefield, being processed for transport, and it takes a step-by-step look at what happens in a military funeral and transport of remains home. I mean, it shows every stop along the way. It might even seem like it's really boring on the fact, but it really isn't. It's fascinating. And I experienced this myself at the end of the journey when I went to my father's interment ceremony in a military cemetery in San Diego. I got to see the horse-drawn carriages. I got to see the flag handling and the testimonials and the intense care that's given and taken for the remains of fallen servicemen. So this movie was written from Strobel's memoir of the trip. It went into his motivations and things that he was going through his brain. He had never done it before. He wanted to continue serving. He was at a desk job at the time. And he was looking for an escort to do. And he found someone who was born in his hometown and thought that he could give back to his community by escorting that serviceman home to his hometown. He learned, as the movie debates, I haven't read the book, but as the movie depicts, he learned that, in fact, he was to be buried, PFC Phelps was to be interred in a separate place where he'd actually grown up rather than where he was born. He still wanted to escort the PFC, give him respect, and make sure that somebody would do this. And it's very unusual for a colonel, or a high-ranking officer, to be the escort for a private, but Colonel Strobel wanted to do it, and he did. The movie is very very touching and very respectful of the process of both the service and what happens during a military funeral. So I picked this movie up after seeing a reel on Facebook. Reels are very short videos. They're meant to showcase a bit of a movie or television show. They're basically clickbait, but it worked. It really did work. And the scene that I saw is towards the first part of Major Strobel's journey, where he's in an airport. This is 2004, mind you. So 9/11 is 3 years old, and the TSA is still very stringent about a whole bunch of things. So Strobel is wearing his full uniform as he's on duty throughout the entire process of escorting Phelps's body home, and he refuses to put the personal effects bag that he's holding in the X-ray machine because it's disrespectful to the personal effects. And he refuses to take off his uniform coat and put it on the X-ray conveyor belt. And he's very adamant. It's like, no, these are things you cannot do. You cannot put my stuff. You cannot disrespect my uniform. You cannot disrespect what are in effect the body and remains of this PFC. And so he won't do it. And I saw this bit of the reel, and it's like, oh wow, that's something. Maybe I should watch that. And then I saw another reel. Since I clicked on that one, I saw another reel a few days later of Strobel eschewing going to a hotel. In fact, instead staying the night, sitting in a chair with the remains of the body in a warehouse in Minneapolis. In Philadelphia, I think it was. So these two bits to me said, this is a movie that I want to watch. Plus, I like Kevin Bacon, right? Kevin Bacon is an amazing actor. So I went on the Swap DVD site, and I had a credit, and boom, there it was. So this was October of last year. I've had the disc since then, and I just hadn't watched it. But I've been wanting to watch it more and more lately. There's various reasons why. I won't go into all of them. Some of them have to do with my father's death, but other things that I'm processing and working on. This is just a movie that I really wanted to watch. So I had a little bit of time today. I watched it, and let's go over a couple of the special features that are on this disc. It won a whole bunch of awards. It went to Sundance. It got Golden Globes. It would have been an Oscar contender if it hadn't been on HBO. Now, they have lightened the rules somewhat for how TV movies work and streaming services work. And today, this would actually be up for an Oscar. But instead, it was Outstanding Television Performance. But the disc has a variety of special features that I quite enjoy. You saw the DVD cover in the streaming room, but it has a featurette on it with interviews with PFC Phelps's friends and a section on the real Stroll. It has interviews, home movies, and other vignettes from Phelps's life. It has a featurette on how the memoir was taken. At the very end of the movie, you see Phelps writing down an essay, which became a book, which then became this movie. And the process of turning that essay into a script and then that script into a movie is a featurette that's on there. And there's a couple deleted scenes. So it's a quick and easy DVD. There's not a lot going on to it, but it's got some really interesting special features. And it's the kind of thing that it's one of those reasons why I love to have physical media, get those special features and those things that you're not necessarily going to get from a tiny little YouTube clip or a Facebook reel. So that is a great movie. I recommend it. If you need a copy, let me know. I'll let you borrow mine, or check it out yourself. It's out there. It's on the internet. It's definitely on HBO. And that was So Here's the Deal, my review of 2009's Taking Chance. Thank you very much for your time, everyone, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.